Today we're going to be talking about answer engine optimization, and my goal for all of you by the end of this presentation is that everybody when you walk out those doors are going to be some of the most intelligent, some of the best informed people in the world when it comes to AEO. So let's get started. As you know, I'm Josh Blyskal. I head up AI strategy at New York City's Profound. Profound is the first platform of its kind that enables marketers to understand, take action on, and tangibly control their visibility within AI search. So, the title of the presentation is that I analyzed over 40 million AI search responses. The data set that we're actually going to be talking about today is just a hair larger than that. We scaled a little bit faster than we expected. We're going to be analyzing a data set of over 250 million AI search responses, over 3 billion citations, all captured through front-end monitoring, so no API calls, none of that stuff. And we're doing it across 8 different answer engines, including your ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google AI Mode, Google AI Overviews, Gemini, Grok, you get the sense, you see the logos here. And we're testing queries that are both informational and commercial to give you a really deep, rich look into AI search behavior. So it is my fundamental belief that these findings are going to change the way you think about search. So I want to jump in with some of the biggest changes that we're seeing in AEO. First things first, I think there is no, and you're looking, by the way, at a slice of hundreds of millions of citations right now. There is no bigger story right now in AI search than the 800, you're reading that right, 800% explosion of Reddit as a source of truth in ChatGPT search. Back in April 2025, Reddit is literally dwindling at 1% of all citations. Dwindling. In 5 short months, Reddit has increased their influence over ChatGPT search results 8-fold. Said another way, Reddit controls 1 out of every 12 global ChatGPT citations. Those citations now belong to Reddit. Reddit has massive influence into what shows up in ChatGPT. Let's see here. Perfect. If we continue talking about ChatGPT, another insane story right now is the 52% decrease in ChatGPT referrals that we're seeing across. We have a data set of billions of website logs. So across that data set, and the mileage may vary with this significant figure here, we are seeing an average of 52% decrease. That's happening right around the time of GPT-5's launch. Now, we don't know if that's GPT-5's LLM infrastructure or the RAG architecture, but the real smoking gun here is that at the same time we're seeing this 52% decrease, we're seeing an 87% increase in Reddit citations, and we're seeing a 62% increase in Wikipedia citations. And this is ChatGPT-5 literally being preferential towards answer-forward content. These domains are structured answer-first content, providing direct answers to questions. This is happening at the expense of direct brand citations. Fewer citations, fewer inline links for brands means fewer clicks and less referral traffic. So this one's great too. If you're an infrastructure nerd, you're going to like this one. Hats off to all the infrastructure nerds out there. ChatGPT has switched its external search provider. So ChatGPT used to have this exclusive partnership with Bing. It is now, there was a great piece by the Information released on this. They're now switched over to Serve API. What this means is that you don't need to use Bing indexability, Bing crawlability. Bing is not the linchpin now in terms of getting into ChatGPT search. We did the test. This is the best part. We did an experiment. We saw when this had happened. So every single month we've been running 1,000 prompts across ChatGPT, Bing, and Google to understand at a domain level, from SERP to citation, how much overlap there was. And this is what we found. ChatGPT is now using a hybridized index. So 6 months ago, ChatGPT was massively aligned towards Bing. Totally 1 in 4 domains on those SERPs were in those citation lists. Now what we're seeing is ChatGPT pulling through results from both traditional search engines roughly at the same rate. And this is what we would expect to see from a shift to a Serve API or like tool. So I think the bigger story here though is the overlap story. Because as we start to see those results, the key thing is that there's still only a 19% overlap between ChatGPT and Google. So 81% of our traditional SEO, 81% of our backlinks, 81% of our keywords, 81% of our traffic is not porting over one-to-one. Now I'm not saying it's not porting over, it's just not porting over one-to-one. So let's talk about a little bit of where that variance comes from. The variance is coming in large part from the way that ChatGPT populates answers. So the first step in the ChatGPT answer population process is when I'm calling query regularization, people are calling it query fan out. We're all kind of generally familiar with this. You dump your context at the top, you press enter, ChatGPT processes all that context and turns it into nice 5 to 7 word search queries that it sends to its external search provider, in this case, SERP API. SERP API gets that external search, that nice cleaned up search query, and it returns an index of results. Now, the components of the index of results are as follows. You get a URL slug, you get a meta description, you get the title tag, you get 80 to 100 characters from that piece of content. Now, this is the insane part. The next piece of technology is called WebGPT. WebGPT is not the same thing as SearchGPT. WebGPT is something very few people are talking about. It was trained by OpenAI in 2021, little to no fanfare. Its entire job on Earth is to literally look through that index of results, look through each of those components, and pluck out and decide what results it thinks it feels will most directly answer the user's question. So when we're optimizing for ChatGPT, we're not optimizing for SERP API, we're not optimizing for ChatGPT itself even, we're optimizing for our content to get chosen, to get plucked out by WebGPT based on those factors that it can see. And so at the same time as all this change, we actually know more about AI search behavior than ever before. So for ChatGPT, for instance, this again is a slice of hundreds of millions of citations. These are the most cited domains in ChatGPT, period, from our data set. Wikipedia. Who was expecting Wikipedia? Wikipedia is 10% of all ChatGPT citations. Reddit's number 2 at around 7.2%. TechRadar, Tom's Guide, Business Insider. There's a bunch of great ones. Reddit is the number 1 source in Perplexity. So Perplexity has this massive bend towards Reddit right now. 6% of all Perplexity citations go to Reddit, and then 2% I think go to YouTube, yeah, 2%. If we look at Google AI overviews, Google AI overviews is so much more evenly distributed, 2%. So Google's most cited domain is getting 2% versus Perplexity getting 6% to Reddit. You'll see how aggressive that 6% is. 2% goes to YouTube, 2% to Reddit, Vera, LinkedIn, all those follow suit. Google AI mode, we've seen the stories on this. Google AI mode is obsessed with citing Google. Google's the number 1 source for Google AI mode, that's Google SERPs. And then Google blog.google is the 4th most cited source. And Copilot actually follows in that echo of Google AI mode. Its number 1 cited source is Forbes, and then its number 2 cited source is its parent search engine, Bing. So everyone's going to have cited their parent search engine here. And this one is really interesting. These are the most cited domains overall in AI search. This is across all models, across all questions. This is 3 billion plus citations you're looking at here. Reddit is the number 1 source, Wikipedia, YouTube, Forbes, you can see here. So the question now becomes, what drives citations? And we did an experiment across 5 different industries and 50,000 prompts. We analyzed the correlation between traditional SEO signals and AI citations. And what we found first is that traffic has almost no bearing on AI citability. Only 5% of citations can be explained by traffic. So in our data set, we saw pages with tons of AEO traffic, tons of AEO citations, and no SEO traffic. And tons of SEO traffic, and no AEO citations, and everything in between. And so basically, traffic is not a good predictor if we're going to look at things that predict AI search behavior. Backlinks. If you think backlinks have a relationship with AI citability, you're right. It's just inverse. This was extremely surprising to us. We found that sites with marginally fewer backlinks and earn more citations. Fewer backlinks, more citations. That's extremely interesting. And intent groups are shifting. OpenAI did some incredible research on this. They looked obviously at the usage of ChatGPT. The intent groups that you're seeing here are across ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and Google Gemini. So we're looking at AI search as a whole. It's really comprehensive. More than half of searches in traditional search are informational, 52%. In AI search, that number doesn't even crack 1/3, 32%. So when we're thinking about where that shift could have occurred, it's in the 2 new intent groups that are happening in AI search. First of all, generative search. Generative search in AI accounts for 37% of everything that everyone puts through those systems. Write me a poem, make me an image, write an email to my boss, tell her I quit. All that is generative search. No intent searches are 12% of the game. Every time someone is asked, please, to an answer engine, that's a no intent search. Please, no, yes, more concisely, write it out at more length. That's stupid. Anytime that we're pushing the model along, we're giving it a no intent search, 12%. So intent groups are very much shifting here. So your typical SEO strategies, from your traffic to your backlinks to your intent groups, you can't rely on them. And so I want you to make no mistake, because AI search still at its core is controllable. Technical optimization is key, but it looks a little different. First of all, AI crawlers still to this day don't interact with JavaScript. We've done a bunch of tests. We have 2 domains set up across Claude, across Perplexity, across Gemini, across ChatGPT. We have tested, literally I tested this morning, they cannot see the fully JavaScript version of a site that I've launched. The server-side rendered HTML version is fine. JavaScript continues to be one of the major bottlenecks that we work around and have found when we work with client websites. Hugely important. If you want something to be discovered, don't have it be rendered in JavaScript. This is an entirely new insight. We have never said this one publicly before. Semantic URLs earn 11.4% of citations, 11.4% more citations on average. We took a sample of the 50,000 top cited URLs and the bottom 50,000 worst cited URLs. All other things held constant. The URLs with 5 to 7 words in length using actual natural language word patterns were cited 11.4%. That is just a free 11.4% citation gain right here. Use semantic URLs. And why? Because URLs market the page to the AI. So when answer engines go to the open web, think about our WebGPT, it wants to find URLs that give it direct confidence as to what pages, what resources, what website is going to give this answer engine the direct answer to the user question, which is why a URL like most ethical and sustainable clothing brands is far infinitely more preferable than 83291GF2-ethical-brands. We are marketing the page to the AI, we're giving the AI confidence. Spoil your content in your meta description. We were working with a customer in the corporate card industry. They came to us and they said, what can we do to be ranked #1? Well, we took a look at the #1 competing page and we were doing something very interesting. Instead of using the meta description like normal, they had literally summarized the entire content piece. So when users ask ChatGPT, what's the best corporate card? When WebGPT sees that meta description and sees the best corporate card is A, B, C, D, and E, you're giving direct answers to the answer engine in that moment. It's like putting up a huge green flag saying, click here, here's the answer, here's the information you're looking for. So you should spoil your content in the meta description. Summarize a key point, offer some value directly. Don't just say, discover the best corporate cards, click here, learn more. Semantic chunks. Semantic chunks are an extension of this as well. If you're asking, if you're trying to answer the question, what's the average rent in San Francisco? You better have in your piece of content, in that URL, the direct answer. The average rent in San Francisco is $2,900 for a studio, $3,400 for a one-bedroom, etc., etc. In a self-contained, neatly formatted, directly grabbable result. We know that the answer engines grab 80 to 100 characters from pages. They don't look at the full page, they don't summarize it. So we need to contain it, and we need to allow answer engines to grab it. If you have verbose, long, running on paragraphs, your information is not going to be grabbed, and you're going to be passed out on that citation. This is me giving you license to seek out positions path through 10 on Google. This one's very interesting as well. Human attention is obviously ruthless. Position 1, 2, 3, these are the gold positions for Google. Really, you could argue that position 1 is where you want to be. In LLM attention and LLM citations have a much longer tail. You can and should seek to earn real profitable citations from things that are positioned 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in Google. This is me giving you license to go do that as well. Answer engines have an insane recency bias. We were working with someone in the password management industry. They came to us and they said, well, we were #1 in the URL list for our domain, or for our industry. Now we're #4. What can we do to fix it? Well, we went and looked at that domain list and we saw 1, 2, and 3 positions that have actually overtaken them and been updated in the last 2 weeks. So we went back into that password management company's page, we refactored it for 2025, we added a title tag, we basically rebuilt it from the ground up, pressed enter, submitted it, within 2 weeks, because of the freshness, it ranked #1. Freshness is a key factor. This is something that not many people are talking about that they really should be talking about. Query fanout has some systematic biases. When we look at query fanout, what I'm noticing across different industries, it's very vertical dependent, is that 10 to 30% of the time, ChatGPT is appending 2025 to the end of the query fanout. What do we think that results in? That results in pages where the URL, the title tag, and meta description that contain 2025 will inherently be cited more often. There is a systematic bias in how query fanout works, and it's towards using the URL in those key elements. Content is king as well. So if you take nothing else away from this, take away that AI search is lazy. AI search is lazy. What do I mean by that? This is across 2.6 billion citations. This is a smaller data set. It's a little more recent. I cut it down from the 3 billion. These are the most cited content types in AI search, bar none. What we found is that listicle and comparative content is the #1 most cited type of content, period. The second most cited type of content is blog and opinion content at 12%. Listicles account for 25%. That is a 2x bend towards listicles. So the bias is here, the verdict is in. Listicles and comparative content still, whether we like it or not, are dominating as high performing in AI citations. And let's think about why that might be. If I'm an answer engine and someone comes to me and says, what's the best men's running shoe? Am I going to go to the Brooks page and look at every single Brooks running shoe, look at every single review, and look at the Hoka page and look at Nike, and do the exact same process and tastefully weigh it against all the memories of the user and structurally build a framework in my own reasoning prompts and think about it and then give the ultimate review? Or am I just going to go to Dan's review? And then am I going to pull the top 3 results off? And then am I going to pass it along to users if it's my own insight? I'm going to do the second thing because I'm an answer engine and answer engines are lazy. And this is what happens when we offer direct value to answer engines. We were working with Ramp, another fintech based in New York City. Ramp came to us and they wanted to make their accounts payable product much more visible. So we structured some great content, we released a few blogs. All those blogs are answer forward, semantic URLs, semantic chunks, directly answering questions about accounts payable. And what do we find? We have a 7x increase in citations and a 7.7x increase in visibility in 1 month. And if we look at the content pickup rate, we worked with 1840 & Co., a company in the HR industry. 1840 & Co. released a piece of content, and the very next day, they were within the top 10 most visible companies in their industry because it got picked up so quickly. Within 3 more weeks, they were within the top 3 most visible companies, all from one listicle, one blog post at that time. And I'm going to leave you with something on UGC here. AI search, and I say generally because Copilot, AI search is generally in love with UGC. 17% of ChatGPT citations are for UGC, 15% for Perplexity towards UGC, 12% of Google AI reviews, UGC, 4% of Google. If we look and understand that, social media and UGC were very situational. We were working with a company in the cloud compute space. They came to us and they said, Reddit is our #1 most cited domain. What can we do to play better? We advise them to go into the conversations and just have conversations. Don't chill, don't talk about the product, just have conversations for a few weeks. And then if it makes sense, you can mention that you have something maybe generally correlated. They did that for a month, and they took their AI visibility on Reddit, or on Google AI reviews from 20% to 80%. Literally, Google AI reviews could not shut up about this product based on Reddit and mentions within that channel alone. They didn't do any blog, they didn't do anything else. That's how earth-shattering this Reddit play is. Because Reddit has a report card like none other in AI search. Again, Reddit is the most cited source in AI search. It's the #1 in Perplexity, it's the #2 in ChatGPT, the #2 in Google AI reviews, the #3 in Google AI Mode. You cannot find a domain that does better AI search than Reddit does. So what does all this mean for you? It means that this world, this AI search world, is going to continue to diverge even more. So we're going to be talking, and next time I'm here talking to you all, we're going to be talking about agentic shopping. We're going to be talking about the continued shifts in indexes. If we think this survey AI shift is the end of it, it's only the beginning. We're going to be talking about ads and AI models. We're going to be talking about what extreme personalization looks like. What does it look like when memories are really good? Memories are just starting out right now. What does it look like with MCP, edge devices, things like that? This is the beginning days of AI search. And this is all happening in an era when brands and customers are further apart than ever. And in that gap, AI models are beginning to own that relationship. So now is the time to build your muscle. Now is the time to track your visibility with an AI search. You can even do this in an Excel spreadsheet. You can literally go and you can start writing down prompts and tracking which brands are showing up, where you show up, contextually, when and how it's happening. That's what Profound does on the scale of millions of AI responses every single day. We understand which brands show up, for which personas. We just released personas 2 days ago. For which personas across which prompts. We understand how you show up against your competitors, and we understand the influence landscape that makes those things happen. We understand across blog, affiliate, news, editorial, across social, and many more, how the fabric of influence takes place and how we can actually create pages and content that gets us cited. I'll talk about that in a second. We also have the first and only data set in the world that is actually a real data set that tells you what people are actually asking AI models. It is like keyword exploration, but for AI search, updated every single week to week. What are the top questions in AI search about your brand, about your industry? What are people asking about your competitors? Do they find you, do they not? It's very interesting because we use all of that data to architect content that is designed from the ground up for AI citation. We do that with our workflows. We do that all in real time in the product. So as a former SEO myself, I'm transitioning to AEO. I know that SEO can sometimes be a black sheep in digital marketing, but I believe that AI search and AEO is about to be the sexiest area in marketing, period. I think everybody in this room has a prime opportunity to get in there and get started. Thank you all so much for having me.